And we're happy to have eCapitol News Director Shawn Ashley back with us on set this week. Good to see you, my friend. You know, we mentioned John Scully taking over the Department of Public Safety. Give us a little bit more on his background.
Yeah, he's not a newcomer to law enforcement. Commissioner Scully has been with the Oklahoma City Police Department for some 30 years, eventually rising to the level of deputy chief before he went over to the Oklahoma Bureau of Dangerous Drugs and Narcotics. Prior to joining the police department here in Oklahoma City, he was also a highway patrolman. So he's very familiar with the highway patrol, with local law enforcement, and with state law enforcement, having worked for one of its major agencies.
State Senator Nathan Dahm has come out strongly against these red flag laws. Tell us more about that.
He's gone so far as to file the first new bill for consideration during the 2020 legislative session, Senate Bill 1081. What this bill would do would prohibit red flag laws in the state of Oklahoma three different ways. First of all, it would nullify any federal red flag law, prevent it from being implemented in Oklahoma. It also establishes that the state legislature would have the authority over local governments to implement red flag laws, essentially preempting them. And then it prohibits any law enforcement officer in the state of Oklahoma from enforcing a red flag law.
Do they have the votes or do they not have the votes? We're talking about the permitless carry petition. Where we stand?
Well, it looks like they do not, according to a court filing submitted on Thursday. They indicated that on the conservative side, they may have only had 30,000 signatures on the ballot. On the optimistic side, they may have had 50,000, but they needed nearly 60,000 to get that measure on a ballot in 2020 and to move forward with it.
A little short. Okay, House Speaker Charles McCall, he's created this bipartisan committee to look at redistricting. What are the goals there? Well,
10 years ago, when the state of Oklahoma redistricted, the House took a different approach than the Senate. The House did a much more public methodology where they went across the state and met with individuals in different communities to see what needed to be done to make sure that they were best represented. Oklahoma is a very diverse state. Look at Enid. It's a growing urban area, but it is also surrounded by a lot of rural areas. So the needs for representation are somewhat different. And the House gathered information from those communities and used that as the basis for their redistricting efforts. The Senate, on the other hand, worked more behind closed doors to come up with their own plan. And within the Capitol, people will tell you that the House process was the preferred process and seemed to work much better.
Very good. Thank you, my friend.
You're very welcome.